Yanmega is a really interesting card because of its ability Buzzing Boost, where once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from the bench to the active, you can search your deck for up to 3 grass energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon. This is really good because, one, it helps power up your Jet Cyclone attack, where as long as you have an energy on it, you're able to attack with it and kind of power up itself pretty quickly. But more importantly than that, it has the second part of the Jet Cyclone attack, where you move 3 energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. Being able to hit for 210 is really good because it allows you to knock out things like Latias, it allows you to knock out Fezandipiti, and a couple other targets, as well as having the grass typing is really nice into things like Charizard, which, you know, we can't really complain too much about considering it's becoming a little bit more common again in our current format. But what's more important is the fact that we get to move the 3 energy off, which allows us to power up a bunch of different random attackers that actually function really well. One of those being Iron Hands EX, where we're able to power up the Amp You Very Much very quickly. And this can matter a lot because Amp You Very Much is such a broken attack and always has been and probably always will be. So a lot of decks right now take a lot of time to evolve and kind of scale up. And so because of that, we can really punish them early, get ahead in prizes. And so even if we need to take like a 2-hit prize trade later, we're able to do that because Amp You Very Much can kind of get us ahead in the early game. But a card that combos with Amp You Very Much a lot is actually our Wo-Chien EX, and this is a card that I haven't seen everybody running, but I think it's very important to run in this deck, because one attack can put your opponents kind of in a pinned position, where if it's in the later stages of the game, we're able to go for the Curious Ivy, where this attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each prize card your opponent has taken. So in the later stages of the game, this can snipe out, again, a thing like a Fezandipiti or a Squawkabilly if it's still on their bench, a Latias, whatever the case may be, or if something was injured and we move it to the bench with something else, we're able to, you know, just snipe it out pretty easily, or even go for a Forest Blast if we want to throw an extra energy on for the 220 and just get the guaranteed damage, which is really nice. One other Pokemon that we're going to be utilizing is the Iron Leaves EX. This is one because it can just come in as a quick attacker to kind of power up real quick and take something out if we have to. But really what it's for is actually the Rapid Veneer ability, where when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during that turn, you can switch it with your active Pokemon, and if you do, you can move any amount of energy from other Pokemon to this one. So what we're able to do is we're actually able to reset our Yanmega or other cards if we have to, where we can go in, move it to the active, move 1 energy to it, and then retreat it back out. This will allow us to reset our Yanmega pretty easily without really having too many issues, where we're able to bring it back into the active and power it up pretty quickly, which is nice. Our main draw engine is going to be the Dunsparce and Dunsparce package, where we're able to use the runaway draw. This way our bench is never too overloaded or anything like that, but we're getting our pieces, and then because we're playing that, we are able to run the Dunsparce EX. This is mostly because the Tantalus Tail, this attack is pretty interesting. It does 60 damage for each of your opponent's EX Pokemon, which sometimes doesn't really matter, but also in some other cases, think of something like Raging Bolt. It can actually matter a lot because your opponent is going to be having almost exclusively EX Pokemon on the board, and so you're going to be able to hit really, really hard, which is nice as a one energy thing to kind of clean up with. But more importantly, it has the Destructive Drill for 150, which it's not affected by any other effects of your opponent's active Pokemon. Really what this is for in this deck is just as a way to get around Mimikyu, Cornerstone, all that kind of stuff. So that way you're not really affected by that. But yeah, that's kind of the list. We're going to be relying on Jet Energy in order to move around our Yanmega. We're going to be playing Prime Catcher, we're playing the 1 copy of Switch, and we're playing 2 copy of Boss, so that way, like I said, we're able to amp down whatever we need to, target something, move things around for the Wo-Chien, and things of that nature. But yeah, that's going to be the list. Be sure to let me know what you think of the list and any changes that you would make to it. I know this is kind of closer to the standard list that we've been seeing for Yanmega, but I do think the Wo-Chien and Iron Leaves are good additions. But be sure to let me know how you're running it. I know that I played against somebody playing it on stream. Wave was using it and using like a heavy package of Ogerpon. So it was definitely a cool build, but they were the ones who kind of put me on Wo-Chien and how good that card can be. So shout out to them. And yeah, we'll get into game one in a second. I just want to give a special shout out to the channel members. Thank you guys so much for that additional level of support. Really does go a long way. It means a lot. So thank you guys so much for that. And thank you for everybody doing it. As for everybody else, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. So that way you're notified of future uploads as well as future streams, because we are streaming a lot more now. We'll probably be streaming probably sometime later today, because this video will come out to the public on Thursday, June 5th. So probably late today if you're watching this in the morning, where you're going to be streaming. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's just about it. We'll get into game one in a second. I'll see you guys there so I can stop rambling and get into the gameplay. Peace. Alright, we're in game number one, and we're going to be going first. Honestly, I'm kind of fine with that. This isn't the best opening ever, so we definitely have to hope that we don't get KO'd or like donked or something like that. But looks like we're up against Gimmighoul, so it's not really going to be as much of an issue. What is going to work out for us is the fact that we'll pass here. We'll probably go Ultra Ball on the Recycler and the Rod, which sucks a little bit, but it's not the worst thing to ever happen. We'll have to retreat out and look for a Jet Energy. So, again, not the best opening. Our opponent had a bad opening as well, though. So, definitely unfortunate from that front for them. We see an Arven. I'm going to go ahead and evolve this. Go Ultra Ball. Yeah, we'll go like that. And we'll grab ourselves the Iron Hands. Play this down, go Super Rod, put that back in, go Research, where we get our Poffin. We'll grab 1 and 1. And then what we're going to be able to do here is go retreat out, bring in the Iron Hands, drop the Jet Energy back in, go Buzzing Boost, grab 3 Energy, add that all to hand, and then attack for the Jet Cyclone, doing 210 and powering up our Iron Hands. And taking game one very, very simply. And we'll probably do 3 games in this video because obviously that doesn't count, but it does just want to show like how quickly not only can we power up the Iron Hands, but how much damage we can do and how quickly we can do it. But yeah, that's game one. We'll jump into game 2 and 3 in just a moment, and I'll see you guys there. Peace. Alright, we're into game number 2. Our opponent won the coin flip and is having us go first, but we're not going to complain about that. We do get our Dunsparce. One of the things that's really nice about opening Dunsparce is that we can go into Dudunsparce and go runaway draw. That'll bring our Yanmega in, so that works out really well for us. We'll grab 1 Yanmega, 1 more Dudunsparce. We'll grab that one because it doesn't really matter. And we can even go Nest Ball here and Nest Ball for a Iron Hands EX, and then we'll pass. One of the things that's really nice is that we have the Ultra Ball, so we can go Ultra Ball, get rid of the Arven and the Iono, or if we draw into something else we don't need, we can go Arven, whatever we draw into, get ourselves a Dudunsparce, place the Yanmega EX down, and then we'll go Iono, get ourselves a new hand, go to Dunsparce after. That'll push that'll push that out of the active. That'll let us bring in our Yanmega, power that up, so that way we don't need to hit Jet Energy or anything like that. We just need to hit any random energy, and then we can just go right into that. Then we'll be able to get the attack, knock out whatever comes into the active, unless they... Alright, so we have to play around the Badoo, which sucks a little bit, but we'll probably just end up going Iono anyway, unless they don't Badoo, which that's going to be huge for us. I thought when they did TM Evo. Alright, Itchy Pollen comes out, but the play is still going to be relatively the same. It just means that we're not going to be able to Ultra Ball. There's another Yanmega. So we're not going to be able to Ultra Ball, but we are going to be able to go Iono and probably make the same play work as long as we find Jet Energy. Which, unfortunately, we don't. We do find a Dunsparce, though. And we can get a similar play off. So we'll go Runaway Draw. We find ourselves a Grass Energy, which is going to be pretty much the same thing. So we'll grab ourselves 3 Grass Energy. And then what we can do is throw the Electric Energy down for turn. Go Jet Cyclone, knocking out the Badoo. And then we'll move Energy over. So that way, on our next turn, we can go right into attacking... Oh, cool, there's another Yanma. And then on the next turn, what we can do is start using our Buddy Poffins, things like that, to get ourselves into the Dunsparce. But we can literally just manually retreat out, go into Iron Hands, place the energy down. And if they don't evolve into Grimmsnarl, then we just KO them. If they do evolve into Grimmsnarl, what we can do is go and just find ourselves the Dunsparce, start drawing ourselves cards, looking for any, like, a Jet Energy or anything like that, retreat out, bring in Yanmega EX, and start attacking again. There's a Counter Catcher. Research. If they knock out our Dunsparce, that's... Or, yeah, if they knock out the Dunsparce, that's fine too. Like, if they go Rare Candy here into the Impidimp. If not, we can retreat this out for free, go Amp You Very Much onto it, take an additional 2 prizes. I don't think they realized that this Dunsparce is free retreat, but they also didn't have anything else they wanted to bring in. They retreat to go Badoo. We're going to be able to go Amp You Very Much on the Badoo. It just means that we don't have access to our items right now. But we can just free retreat, bring this in, drop the energy down, go ahead and go Amp. Where we knock out the Badoo, take double prize cards. Where we get our Iono and Arven. And if they decide to go into the Grimmsnarl here, they are weak to Grass, which means we'll be able to retreat this out if we want, or we can go Arven for Switch. Switch will allow us to just power up the Yanmega right away, attack in, take another 2 prizes. Our Iron Hands will survive this incoming attack, and we'll call it a day. Now, we do get Unfair Stamped, which is a little annoying, but we get a Boss's Orders, so honestly, we can even just drop Boss, knock this out, let our Iron Hands get knocked out, and then bring in Yanmega, and close out the game that way. Or if we really have to, we can manually retreat this out, just get rid of all 4 energy, bring in Yanmega, start attacking. So we have plenty of options. I think the Yanmega is really well positioned in the meta right now. I feel like it's a card that kind of got slept on. Like, a lot of people talked about how it was like good but not great, but I feel like it's like this deck is super strong. Because your overall matchup spread isn't even that bad. You have a great Charizard matchup. Grimmsnarl's becoming really, really popular, and you have a good Grimmsnarl matchup as well. Just because you hit it for weakness, and then Amp is super powerful against the, like, Monkey Dory side of the deck. Yeah, so 210. So I can literally, like, the reality here is that I have 2 options. I can go Boss's Orders onto this, KO it, take 2 prizes, and then bring in Yanmega. Or I could retreat the Iron Hands EX out, knock this out, force them to have the Grimmsnarl, but the reality is, like, they are going to have that pretty much no matter what. So, because of the Spike Mouth. So, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go Amp. Take the 2 prize cards, remove this from play. Because there's no way that they can knock out my Yanmega. There's a Jet Energy. So, since there's no way for them to knock out my Yanmega at this point, it doesn't really matter. They can take the Iron Hands knockout. We only need one. We only need 1 prize anyway, and we have a Dunsparce with free retreat. We also have Energy Search, so like that's cool, I guess. But we just kind of have them pinned at this point because they have to. There's no way to take enough prizes to win, and there's no way to get rid of everything on the board. Even if they boss up, let's say, the Yanma, and, you know, knock out the Grimmsnarl with the Shadow Bullet, or they use Grimmsnarl, Shadow Bullet to knock out the Iron Hands and the Yanma, we bring in Dunsparce. If not, it doesn't really matter. We have the Energy Search to put the 1 energy on anything that we want to retreat it out. So we get to go Dunsparce. Bring that in. We draw into Wo-Chien, which is fine. We go Yanma. Get our energies back. And then we get to hit for weakness into the Grimmsnarl, knocking that out. And we don't really need to move anything, but we'll just throw them right here. This is where normally we'd play down Wo-Chien, but yeah. There's our other boss. And a pretty easy game too, because our Grimmsnarl matchup's, like I said, just really good. It takes them a little too long to get going. The fact that we hit for weakness against it, and then Iron Hands just takes 2 prizes if they decide not to play it, and they just go for the regular kind of Monkey Dory Frostlass package. Just being able to pick up 2 prizes on that all the time is just super good. The early aggression out of Yanmega is really, really powerful. And how consistent it is just kind of broken. But, alright, we'll get into game 3 in a second. I'll see you guys there. Peace. Alright, we're into game 3. We are going to be going first again, because we're getting really lucky on coin flips today. We open Dunsparce. Not much else, unfortunately. We'd really want to top deck into a Buddy Poffin or something. Ooh, it's item lock from our opponent with Venomoth Dusknoir. That's pretty cool. As long as we're able to get into a Yanma here, that'd be really, really good. We see Boss's Orders. There's the Badoo, so we really want to see Yanma. But we only see an extra Yanmega, so we'll go Grass Energy onto the Dunsparce and pass. We're probably just going to end up going Find a Friend a lot. Because we're not going to get items from this point going forwards. We see Team Rocket's Petrol. Interesting that it's not Arven, but maybe they're just running 4 Arven, 4 Petrol just to guarantee their early setup. The main thing here, though, is that once we have Iron Hands made, we won't really have to worry about anything else. So that's pretty convenient. We can go find a friend, though. Find ourselves the Yanma. We're going to have a lot of turns, I feel like. Let's see. Oh, there's an Ultra Ball. Can't really do anything with that. What I am going to do is I'm going to go Arven. Use that to find myself TM Evo. I guess Buddy Poffin will be the play. And the main reason for that is that we can go find a friend. Use that to find ourselves the Yanma. On the next turn, we'll play the Yanma down, and then we'll go for another Find a Friend in the Iron Hands. And then we can go Yanma into Yanmega and then start kind of playing the game. Because we'll have Boss's Orders to get around the Vileplume, or not Vileplume, the Venomoth. We do see an Iono come in here. Honestly, that's not that bad. Because we're going to be able to reset the same thing. Ooh. They have the Fuecoco. That's interesting. I assume this is due to the thing where they buff up the damage from the attack. Yeah, we're gonna go Dunsparce down, go to Dunsparce, shuffle everything. Probably end up going Find a Friend again. Your Pollen comes back out. So this is gonna be a slow process, but I don't think we're really in too much danger. We'll go to Dunsparce. We'll go Runaway Draw. Bring in a new one. Go Yanma down. We can place this. But then what I'm actually going to do is I can go Boss's Orders here. And force up the Fuecoco. Make them have to find a way to retreat. Because it's 2 retreat costs, so they need a switch, a Toro, something like that. And if we're not item locked, then we're going to be able to go to Dunsparce and onto the active, drop our research, and kind of go from there. We can go Vitality Band onto the Dunsparce to help save it. There's an Iono, a little annoying, but as of right now, it seems like we won't be item locked going into the turn. Okay, honestly, this is also totally fine. It more or less gets us the same thing we were going to do. If we top deck into Yanmega too, that's great. Unfortunately, we don't. But what we'll do is we'll go Buddy Poffin for one more. Actually, we'll do 2 of these because we already have 1 in hand. We'll go for the Iron Hands. And then what we can do is go place that down. We'll go Artisan. Artisan for another Yanma, just to help pull that out. Then we can go Runaway Draw, where we do get into our Yanmega. So we can place that down. We do have energy for turn. Not that we really need to play it just yet, but what we can do here is go for the Prime Catcher, pull the Venonat in, go Yanmega, boost our 3 energies, and from here, just go ahead and Jet Cyclone, knocking that out, and then moving 3 energy to the Iron Hands. So really all we're looking for at this point is the electric energy. And hopefully we find that off our prizes right here. Nope. I mean, we found with grass energy. That was close to what I was asking for. But now the main thing is, like, we can just retreat if we have to. Give them a turn. Obviously, we'd love to top deck into something if they go for a play that does knock out my Yanmega somehow. I don't even know what that would look like. I'm not really that worried about it, because I have another Yanma in play. I have Artisan to find myself a new Dunsparce, or Dunsparce rather. It looks like they're probably going to end up just going retreat into Toxagiri. If I find myself Iron Leaves, then that's also good for me. If not, it just means that I'm going to have to play this game out a little slower. Yeah, because they go Itchy Paul in here, I'll just end up having to retreat going into the Dunsparce. We find ourselves Arven. I can go Arven here. Go find a friend. Ultra Ball. And what I'll do from here is I can go TM Evo. And make double to Dunsparce. That way, not only do I have access to +6 cards on the incoming turn, but I can just retreat out, bring the Dunsparce in, attach the energy back to the Yanmega, and start attacking again. And if they choose to take a knockout, that's fine. Because I have if I'm not item locked, then I'll have access to Nest Ball into Fez. And then we're really just looking for our electric energy. Curse Blast comes in, I assume onto... I thought it was just going to be onto the Yanma to take a knockout, but they're just stacking damage onto the Yanmega. There's a Iono. We do have another Yanma on bench, so again, even if they knock out my Yanmega, I'm not really that worried about it. We see energy onto the Fuecoco. I guess that'll be the next target to try to boss up, but there's the Venonat. The problem with our opponent's deck is that they kind of built too wide, where like they should have just full committed into the Venonat, maybe some Duskull, but trying to get the extra like bonus damage from the Fuecoco play is just like too much. So we'll go Runaway Draw, where we do get our electric energy, so it means we can just go right into Iron Hands. We can hold on to our other one in case we get Iono'd later on in the game. Like I said, we can just kind of hold on to it. What we'll do is go Artisan, grab ourselves one more Dudunsparce. We'll grab ourselves the one with free retreat. Then we can go Amp You Very Much, take 2 prizes off the Badoo. And at this point, there's really nothing our opponent can do. Even if they can, like, they can continue to item lock us, we don't really care. Once we're set up, item lock becomes less and less relevant, and our deck can kind of play around it. Obviously, our opponent wasn't able to get to the full height of their strategy, but the other thing too is like we play so many switch cards that, or like ways to get around stuff where like, let's say they go for the confusion play, right? Like they actually got into the Venomoth, then we'll be able to retreat into pretty much whatever we want. If they boss up our Dunsparce or our Dunsparces, we'll just be able to evolve or naturally retreat out so we can get around the confusion. If it's Iron Hands, then again we can literally retreat out into the Yanmega, repower it up, or just, you know, flip heads. They go Badoo, Itchy Pollen again to reapply the item lock, but it doesn't really matter. Their fate is sealed. We play so many energy in the deck that we're always pretty much guaranteed to have one in hand, so we can just keep looping this over and over. Go Amp You Very Much, make the Badoo wish it, you know, we'll make them wish their mother wasn't scared of us, and grab our last energies, which works out pretty well. I mean, pretty easy game. Iron Hands is just so punishing. So it's like these kind of slow item lock decks just really struggle against us if they can't get set up like immediately. Though I do think our opponent's deck maybe wasn't built the most optimally because of the Fuecoco in it and things like that. But even still, I don't think it would have mattered. But yeah, that's going to be game number 3, and we'll jump into the breakdown in a second, and I'll see you guys there. Peace. When looking at the breakdown of Yanmega, I think this card is actually incredibly good, and I'm also somebody who's guilty of when this card first came out, I thought it was going to be good but not great, and this card has really surprised me. Going into it, this deck is unbelievably fun, probably my favorite deck right now to play aside from Typhlosion and Guardy. So that says a lot. I know that a lot of decks I say are fun, and most of them are, but I feel like this one is really exceptional in that regard. It's really enjoyable, but also I think that it serves that really fast play style that I think a lot of people like, and is also kind of lacking from our current meta right now. The game's kind of in a slow state, and Yanmega is really pushing the speed of the game, in my opinion. Going into power, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, or a like 3.5 out of 5. It does good damage, but never incredible damage, and so you're mostly relying on the ability to get ahead early and get a whole bunch of prize cards in the early game, as well as abusing Iron Hands to kind of like take advantage of these slower decks and be able to kind of beat stick them. But if you're not in a matchup where you hit for weakness, so let's say like a late game situation where you're up against like Gholdengo or something, then you can definitely struggle because they resist your Yanmega. You don't have a ton of ways to like knock things over. Actually, looking at it now, something that I would actually recommend is probably putting in something like Ursaluna in order to help get you that guaranteed extra damage. But aside from that, it can be a little bit difficult to push that, so your power can be a little lacking if you're not getting super ahead early, so just kind of keep that in mind. Going into its consistency, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I think this deck is unbelievably consistent, though you do run a high count of energy, and so sometimes your hands can just brick because you end up with like 4 random, grass energy in your hand or something like that, which can kind of suck for sure. Or if for whatever reason you aren't able to get into your Yanmega within like the first like 2 turns or so, then you can kind of struggle. But I feel like that happens very rarely, but it is possible. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 in that regard. And then its matchups, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 as well. There are some matchups that can be a lot harder for this deck. Things like the like Raging Bolt can be slightly annoying because you don't really have anything that you can just like super abuse. You do need to make sure that you're targeting down the teal masks with your boss's orders and just kind of going around the iron, or not the Iron Hands, the going around their Raging Bolt and making sure you're targeting down like the Ogre Pawns and stuff like that. That matchup can be a little finicky, but not terrible. But really your hardest matchup is going to be things like Gholdengo, because they're going to be able to one-shot you, survive your attacks, and if you're not able to get ahead early, it can be definitely a problem. Your other hard matchup is Terrabox, because you don't have a way to break the Pikachu. And so that's going to be one-shotting you, kind of causing a problem. You can abuse the Joltik, but they also have Iron Hands of their own, so they can abuse your Dunsparces and all that kind of stuff, so that matchup can also be a little bit finicky. But the rest of your matchups are actually pretty good, so just kind of be on the lookout for those. Your Iron Hands does shore up a lot of matchups like Gardevoir and stuff like that. But so yeah, so that's why overall I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I think this deck is really powerful, so I definitely give it a try if you have been considering it, or if you were on the fence about it, definitely give it a try. This deck is very powerful, and I could definitely see it winning some tournaments as time goes on, and especially as it gets a little bit more optimized. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified of future uploads, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Be sure to leave what you want to see next on the channel in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.